Hello and welcome back to the Chatter Cave podcast with your OG boys.
Back.
Because guess who's back? Back again. The
Connor's back.
Tell your friends. The being that was created from Tyrone.
Tyrone.
It was a genetic experiment with Tyrone, and this is what was born.
Taken from a single sperm from Tyrone. I was manifested into what I am today.
So yes, I'm your host, Drinking Tom Hughes. As you can very clearly see, I'm joined by my once again co-host, brother from another mother. Dad's a milkman. Mr. Connor O'Shea, aka Zenify Gaming. Because obviously you've agreed.
I'm glad to be back.
Because obviously you've agreed to step back in following Hayden stepping back out.
The removal of Hayden.
Obviously, this is something that was meant to record a few days ago, but long story short, some fuckery got me ill. So we had to cancel our recording and delay it till
What are you talking about?
kind of last minute. But either way, we're here and we're gonna get this.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that, I was like, no. It would have made more sense if Alex was here.
He's always here in our hearts.
That, and he's always constantly messaging, "Get off my message, Alex. I'm on Twitch. I'm on Twitch. Come watch me."
I'm currently live streaming. Please come watch me.
But anyway, yes, we are back on a full-time basis together, and we're also going to do some gaming here and there, just to
Every now and then.
just to replace obviously Hayden's other show. It's just the culling of anything Hayden related.
Yeah. Be gone.
It's the great Hayden. It's the great Hayden purge.
After that from one day.
Once she took your derp, and now you took her derp.
Yeah, I've took you back. Fucking aliens.
But yeah, so obviously we're back to more topic discussions, which is something we was going to do anyway. Me and Hayden, that is literally something we was going to do more than reviews. We might do a few reviews here and there if there's something
It's just
new.
something we both really want to watch,
Yeah.
or we have watched, or...
Yeah, so obviously it's something I was going to do anyway, and then obviously she came up, she wanted to obviously step back, and I was like, well, it gives an excuse even more now to the discussions, because I can get Connor back.
Back, baby!
Because, Mr. Connor, what is our topic of the day?
I believe it is remakes and remasters, right?
Of video games, yes.
Yeah.
Because...
Not films.
No,
We've already given this one before, haven't we? Have we done remasters?
we did
remakes of
we did
films?
reboots of... We talked about reboots of like films and TV shows, and in terms of like reboots in general. But obviously this is specifically aimed at something that's big at the moment in video game industry, which is remaking an old video game for the new generation and basically keeping it the exact same, tweaking a few things, but giving you the brand new up-to-date graphics. So
Yeah.
this sort of idea has been going for ages. I mean, there's plenty of games like years and years old that are basically got the HD sort of remake treatment. Like, I mean, Resident Evil, for example, got HD remake treatment quite a bit before eventually getting an actual remake treatment.
Remaster, yeah. Or remake, remake, not remaster.
But yeah, so obviously this is something that's been going for a while, but it's more in the last like couple of years that it's actually been like a much bigger deal. Because this year alone we've had Resident Evil 4 remake, which literally came out about a month ago.
4 weeks ago, was it? Yeah.
4 or 5 weeks ago. Which we both played, both finished, both enjoyed very much. Obviously, we've also had The Last of Us Part 1. I'm going to refer more to the PS5 version because that one was broken as fuck. Because the PC version is apparently fucked to the high heaven.
Don't know how it is at the minute. I think they might have fixed things, but it was severely broken when it launched. So
it was Cyberpunk level of bad.
Yeah, probably actually. Oh yeah, I don't know. He couldn't even launch the game half the time, so probably worse.
But yeah,
Got fixed it faster.
So yeah, I'm going to refer to more to the PlayStation, the original remake, not the PC port of a remake. Obviously, we've also had Resident Evil 2 and 3 over the past couple of years, which obviously have both been nominated in the Game of the Year category, which is pretty cool. So it's obviously the thing here is it just a cash grabbing situation, or is it just basically the kind of, well, there's a lot of audience out there that probably wouldn't have touched a lot of these games. I mean, the OG Resident Evil 4, for example, was GameCube, wasn't
it? Originally GameCube, and then it kind of released on it. Well, it is a GameCube exclusive for like a month, and then it released on everything. So, yeah.
So it's the case of it's an old game that obviously not a lot of people probably could get their hands on. Obviously, people like who have PCs and that can easily get their hands on because there's Resident Evil 4 HD on there, so you can easily get your hands on it that way. But obviously, if you're not a PC gamer, then it's something that you're not really going to be able to touch upon heavily. And if you do, you'll play it and be like, "Oh, this is really old. I don't like this." You know what these youngins are like. So is it the idea of, is it a cash grab situation, or is it something that is needed to revive the interest in something?
So I think personally, I think it's like the last couple of generations to like PlayStation. Obviously, PlayStation 2 to 3. There's not many games which really got like the remaster kind of thing, because it wasn't like a mega. It was a big jump, but it wasn't huge. And obviously, going like further and further, the technology's come so far since these games. I mean, going Resident Evil 2 and 3 was a PlayStation 1 game. So that's like huge to remake. Because I feel like obviously a lot of audiences wouldn't go back and play the originals now, but these obviously full remakes and whatever. Like, to me, that is like the definitive edition now. Like the fourth one, I feel like it's a toss up between both of them. I feel like the remake's got its really good parts, but the original's got its really good parts. Whereas obviously 2 and 3, I don't think I could go back to the originals now. I couldn't go back and play 2 and 3 with the tank controls. So I think it's needed. I think nowadays it's needed. They got the technologies to do it, and it's like seems easy enough for them to remake it. So the voice acting's obviously way better nowadays as well. So
is it the case of as well that obviously they've got this IP here, this game already there. It's just the case of, okay, we can easily just bring it further along with the new stuff. I mean, we've already built this game here as this fucking cop. Just do the same for this, and basically get the same sort of reaction.
Well, it's like obviously doing like you mentioned earlier, Resident Evil 4 got like a HD version, but it's just the same game. It's just a few texture changes. Whereas obviously the new one, it's this total revamp of the, like, not totally like a new story, but obviously you've got segments in that have been put in and some taken out. But it's generally the same story. What happens in the end of this one, but the old one's the same. But I think it needs that fundamental overhaul of just like get all the assets new, get all the frames up, whatever. Everything just needed redoing, which is, I don't mind when it's a game that's like quite old, like over like 10, 15 years. But I feel when they do like more recent games that, like, for example, like Last of Us, I feel like The Last of Us didn't really need it. It was just warranted, I guess. It's like people will buy it, so why not do it?
I think with that one, it's the case of trying to bring it to the new system in terms of the how the Last of Us Part 2 ran in terms of its graphical enhancements. I think it was the case of that. So then you can literally jump into 1, and as soon as you finish 1, you can jump into 2, and it's not that massive of a jump in terms of the graphical elements. So it's like an easy enough jump from one game to the next. Whereas if you played, say, it's the remaster one that you get on PS4, the Last of Us Part remaster version, and then went to part 2, you can see the massive jump in terms of technology that was used to make both games. But as I say, whereas if you played part 1 and then straight with part 2, it's not. It's basically like, it's just the same. Like my hand, it's enough the same. It's slightly different.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, my hand. Look, on my hands like that. It's slightly different, but it's basically the same. It's a hand. It's basically the same. It's a weird example. Weird example that was, but it's an example. But do you think with obviously a lot of these studios, it's a way as well, and obviously in terms of remakes, because obviously it's an easy thing to just look at and go, yeah, I'll just do that one again and just change it. Is it a way as well to tide fans over until they actually have something new?
Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah, because I mean, Resident Evil's obviously gonna be the big one that we go to. It's the one that's got probably the best remakes and whatever. Resident Evil 2, was it 2 and 3 came out before Village or just 2? And then I can't.
I'm trying to remember
I
what
think
years
it's
they came out.
I think it's 2 and then Village and then 3, right?
What year did Village come out?
Oh my god! Actually, it might have been 2, 3 then Village. Making me question my life existence now. Hang on,
You
let's have a
Google
look.
that.
I'm just on Steam, looking at the
Oh,
library.
that actually makes more sense. And say because I can't remember what year it came out.
Village apparently came
Was it
out.
2020? Was it 2021? Village was it 2022?
Well, is
It's
it even gonna
2021,
tell
was
me?
it? Was it early 2022? Was it?
You know what? I will use Google because I'm trying to look on this and it's just not telling me
It would
anything.
probably be a lot quicker.
Right, let's see what's going
I
on.
was say, give us a cheeky zoom in.
I did it. Oh,
Come on, big brain. This is big brain, Connor.
I'm looking.
This is
I'm
big
looking.
brain. I can see all the digits in your eyes going. Math.
2021, May the 7th, 2021 was Village.
It was before it then.
Released, yeah. So 2020 was release
3.
date of 3.
And was it 2019 then 2?
I believe it would have been, yeah. Yeah, 2019.
Yeah.
But like I say, I think having them two come out was like this massive lead up because I think it helped. I mean, I really love number 2. I didn't pick up number 3 till recently, to be fair, just because I heard people say, "Oh, it's not as good as like the rest," and I bought it when it's like cheap as hell. I mean, I think I bought it for like £5.50 or something. So it's worth it for £5.50. But I understand why people was a bit pissed off. Like I said to you, the whole like clock tower section was missing. Like, I understand about that. Same as like the new one, Resident Evil 4. I've seen a lot of people complain about things being taken out, like boss fights and stuff. But I don't think, as much as the boss fights were good back in the day, I don't think it would have fit as well in this one. It would have just been more like padding to the story. Whereas obviously, I think the story is quite streamlined in the new remake. So, but I think having a remake leading up to like the new game is a good thing. Obviously, Resident Evil Biohazard was like the one that kicked it all off again. I think that was the bring back to Resident Evil, and then it was like, okay, we've got the fans back now. Let's release these remakes, and then there's like here's Village as well, which was really good. So
it's a good way of like hyping up fans ready because you had Biohazard, which obviously Resident Evil 7. Then the next main game after that was Village. So Biohazard was what? Ooh,
2015.
Is it 2015?
I believe it would have been 2015. Yeah,
I was going a bit earlier than that, but let's say 2015. And you said 2020.
I'm gonna check now.
And you said obviously 2021 is Village. That's what? A 6-year gap? So it's obviously, yeah, okay, there's a gap of.
Ooh, 2017.
Was it?
Yeah,
Fuck.
24th of January 2017.
I honestly was going further back than you in terms of thinking of dates. I was thinking 2013. Don't know why, I just was.
I can't remember what would have been released in 2013 for Resident Evil. Resident Evil 6 got released in 2012.
I remember that coming out in 2012. I bought it for like fucking £7 in a car boot.
I've never played. I skipped number 6. It wasn't. Well, I played number 5, skipped number 6, and then the release as like Revelations. And I didn't play them either. I went straight to obviously Biohazard and whatnot. So
I never finished Biohazard, sadly.
more horror-esque,
Yeah.
especially in the first act. It obviously went a bit more action towards like midway towards the end kind of thing. But I think that's why a lot more people. I mean, as much as I liked Biohazard, I think Village was like the better like action game. It felt more Resident Evil 4-esque, and I think that's what was a good thing to release Resident Evil 4 after that one, because it is more of the action. And then obviously with 2 and 3, they're the more like the horror puzzle.
Yeah.
New one's like the action again, so it's like Village action, this one action.
Yeah, because obviously, if you think about it, obviously, Village was, well, set in a village, obviously. And obviously 4, straight after
set
that.
in a village.
like literally 2 years after that, and you're like, oh, this is like basically probably what inspired Village in terms of basically
thinking about it, actually, you got the village at the beginning.
You got a fish monster.
You got a castle.
You got the fish
Yeah,
monster.
you got the castle, which is obviously a village as well. You got the castle. Um, you got the fish monster. That's two. They're quite very very similar settings. I'm trying to think of. I haven't played Village in such a long time. It's a good game though. I need to buy the DLC for Village. I think I need to go back and play that. It's going to be quite good. So
And so it is an easy thing to like get the people interested in. Obviously, getting this an old beloved game and remaking it for the new generation, and not just the new generation to get them interested within the franchise, then help going forward with releasing their new games. It also brings keeps the ones that have been invested for a long time still invested in this franchise. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But obviously, the question is now, what are fucking they're gonna remake next in terms of Resident Evil? Are they actually gonna remake another one, or are they just gonna skip all the rest?
See, I think if they're going to do anything now, I think the wise decision would be to make a new game. Just do number 9. Just go straight to Resident Evil 9. Skip doing a remake for now because you got all the audience back for number 4. I mean, I'm guessing a lot of people have played number 4 and didn't play the remake of 2 and 3 and gone and brought them now.
Well,
So
you think that if they released the 5, which you hated, will kill the hype?
see, I don't think the 5 was I don't think it was a terrible game. It just wasn't. It didn't hold a torch to number 4 at all. It was nowhere near what 4 was. It just felt like it was lacking everything. I mean, they tried to go with like the more co-op kind of thing, and it just didn't. It didn't work at all. It fell so flat. Like I say, I think
I'm
they
guessing that's
kept
something
going
they'd
like.
eradicate though if they remade that. I'm guessing they'd get rid of the co-op angle maybe.
It'd be so hard to read the story though, because so much of it's like based on these two characters all the time. Obviously, you got Ashley in this one, but half the section she's gone. I mean, you just get rid of her after. She's like, "Oh no, you've been separated from Ashley like 3 times." Like, see you later. It's like the best sections in the game when you haven't got Ashley. So, trying to think of like how they do this one.
Don't
I
lie,
suppose
don't lie. You love some of the mods of her.
yeah, the mods are great, yeah, but
Big chumba Ashley.
she jumped out the window.
Splat.
Leon. So. But no, I think they should go straight to number 9. If not, the only other remake Capcom could do, which will be a huge seller now, maybe Devil May Cry series. I think we talked about that the other day. That's a
Yeah.
huge one, remaster or remake.
The
Sorry.
thing is, Capcom, their main games are obviously Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, Dead Rising, and Devil May Cry. Those are their 4 sort of big sort of mainstream type games. And obviously they've currently seen a heavy positive in basically revamping and remaking the Resident Evil ones. So it's literally the case of now, are they going to carry on and finish remaking them? Because obviously, if they did, I'm guessing they'd go up to obviously you still got 1, you've still got the 0 game, you still got 5 and 6. Because obviously then I'm guessing after they wouldn't obviously touch. There's no point touching fucking Biohazard onwards because they're fucking brand new games. But as you said, obviously then they could easily either do those 4 and just finish this series, which would be quite cool. I mean, you got the complete collection then in terms of the all remade to the same engine. That'd be pretty cool. But as you say, it's the case of then they could look at these other franchises, guys. Specifically, say obviously Devil May Cry, because that's a big one. I mean, Devil May Cry, is it 5 the one that come out back in 2019? Was it?
Yes, I believe so.
I obviously have never played any Devil May Cry game before that game came out. Hadn't really touched. Obviously, I know what Devil May Cry is. I've seen images. I've seen obviously the name. I'm not a hermit that's just like stuck under a rock and I don't know stuff. I do know what it is. It's just that I've never touched the game. And then obviously I saw like trailers and a lot of the music for Devil May Cry 5, and I was like, I need to play this. And I think I ordered it. I think you brought it around the same time as well, and we were both talking about it. And it's like I was invested as hell.
I had it pre-ordered, didn't I? I had it pre-ordered fucking as soon as I saw everything revealed. I was like, okay, I'm getting this. And I remember saying to you, like, oh, have you seen Devil May Cry? And he's like, I never played it, but I'll get it.
But that'd be a good thing for someone like me, for then them to go back and remake the old games up before that one, so then I can actually see a bit more of the story. Because obviously I've jumped in, obviously in the middle of that is like with all these characters like being where they are, and just like, well, I don't know much backstory about these characters. I don't know anything about them really. It's all mysterious to me.
See, the problem is with Devil May Cry is like everyone loves the first one. The first one is like if there's going to remaster it, it'd have to be the first one, and the second one's universally just hated. It wasn't as like it just didn't feel Devil May Cry at all. And then obviously the third and fourth one about even, I imagine. But the first one, I think most people would want. The second one, I don't know how to do it. Whereas obviously with Resident Evil, they remade the second one first because I think more people like the second one than the
Yeah.
first one. So it's a bit more. I don't know where to go. See, I feel like with Capcom, they'd always do. They're trying to like a bulk lot. So it's like obviously with Resident Evil, it's 2, 3, and 4.
The big
But I don't see
ones.
how to do Devil May Cry because I can't do 1
And then
and then
jump.
just skip over 2 to 3 and 4. Well, I don't know. But then again, skip 1, Resident Evil 1,
Exactly.
straight to 2. But
It's a difficult thing to, I was gonna say, to think. Are they actually going to skip games, or is that going to be their look at not touching that franchise? Like, we could we could remake 1, but it's a case of, well, we need the story to keep going to get to the remake of 3, but we don't want to touch that game. I mean, they can still remake 1. They can still remake the first one.
yeah, I feel like the best route to go is just remake the first one, get people maybe in the hype, and then maybe release a new Devil May Cry. Because surely they got to be working on a new DMC because it's the fifth one sold loads. I know it done really well. So Capcom did a lot, like towards, was it 2016, 2017? They did seem to like a lot of big games that sold well. Obviously, Monster Hunter sold like ridiculously well.
And so they pretty much like jumped from like Biohazard into, was it Monster Hunter World, to Devil May Cry 5, and then into obviously the remakes of Resident Evil, while also doing Village, giving us that Monster Hunter game, that is it Rise, was it? Which I played a bit of recently. But that's mainly it. Mainly, obviously, Capcom, so within the last 10 years, have mainly been heavy focusing on, obviously, Resident Evil and Monster Hunter. Whereas Devil May Cry got obviously a slight bit of light, with obviously 5 in the last so many years. But obviously, it's mainly been Resident Evil more than anything with Capcom, because that's their big selling point. Obviously,
That's the game they're most known for, isn't it?
yeah.
Is Resident Evil, so.
I think with Monster Hunter, though, obviously, it was the case of when they did World, they could just drag it out. There's that much they could keep adding into it, because it being obviously this multiplayer type game at times. They could just keep adding to the world, and just people keep coming back. Oh, it's put an expansion in it to expand the map a bit more, put a new setting. People would buy it and keep going. Whereas obviously, Resident Evil it's literally just a more story based game. So all you can really do is just make a new entry, or as they saw straight away, was like, okay, let's go back. We've got these games on really old consoles. No one's really going to touch them. Let's remake 2. Let's see how it does. Done really well. Okay, we've got 3 on the go as well. There you go, it's 3. It's done pretty well. Well, we've got this Village coming out, but we'll hold off a second because we're making 4. Everyone's been clamouring for this remake. Let's get this remake out. Number 4. It's just an easy thing for a studio to do, is just remake while they either waiting for a game to come out or waiting to conceive an idea for a game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with a remake of a game, they've already got the main story, so they haven't got to worry about that. They've just got to worry about getting the assets and what they're going to change and everything else. Not got a tail.
So I think that's the, obviously,
How do I?
like with The Last of Us, obviously, because that's your special guest co-host.
I'm a co-host.
But yeah, obviously, say if you look at like, the Last of Us remake, obviously remake they did with Last of Us Part 1, obviously, Naughty Dogs haven't really got anything out at the moment. All they keep doing is revamping games and bringing them to, like, porting them to other consoles. Like, they did the Uncharted, they've done The Last of Us now. Like, that's all they're really doing at the moment. Obviously, there's nothing else. Their whole focus was heavily on the TV show, getting The Last of Us TV show out. So it's the case of this game, though it's flopped in terms of the PC version, the PS5 version is a good way to tie people over until either they announce they're doing Last of Us Part 3, announce they're doing maybe another entry in the Uncharted franchise, or announce any game whatsoever. Because obviously they've literally bashed out the Uncharted movie, which obviously they weren't heavily involved in, but obviously it's their IP, so there's still some obviously, it's still a name that people recognise, and it tied them over for a bit. Then obviously they put out the remake of the game, they put out the TV show. They put out the PC port of the remake of the game, which was fucked, but still. So that's like their thing at the moment. Obviously, whereas Resident Evil was bashing out the remakes of the game, the new entries of the game, the failed TV adaptation of the game. Obviously, they bashed out loads in this course of 2017.
Like 6 year, 7 year span. It's like constant,
9,
wasn't
10, 11, 12. Yeah, 6 year span. They've literally got 3 remakes, 2 new games, and a TV show. That's not bad, to be fair.
It's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, it's not too bad, to be fair. Plus, didn't they try and do like a weird online multiplayer
They
type?
do on that, they just didn't go anywhere.
That weird like Dead by Daylight inspired type game.
I don't know what it was. It made no sense. Every time I looked at it, I was like, I mean, I've got it in my Steam lobby because you got it included with Village, but I've never installed it or wanted to install.
What was it called?
RE-verse, wasn't it? Was it RE-verse?
Yeah, it might have been.
Or something. I'll look at the Steam library. It's in here somewhere.
Come on, give us Big Brain Connor.
Oh, I need to open up my little thing. Where's it gone? Oh no. Oh shit, I've opened up the wrong thing. I'm trying to upgrade my fucking...
All you hear now is...
Background changes. No!
It's a lot of dudes behind you, Connor. All on the piece of that fine little white ass.
Yeah, it's literally called Resident Evil RE-verse.
Yeah, so, I mean, that technically obviously didn't really happen, but obviously it's still something. So, I mean, 7 projects in the span of 6 years. Obviously, one didn't pan out, but that ain't bad, really.
Not on top of also the DLC, the release of Village as well.
Exactly. Whereas you look at, obviously, plus you got that animated film credits, yeah? That CGI film. Death Island.
Yeah, which has, like, everyone's hyped for, because it's got, like, all the OG characters.
Yeah, I saw the recent trailer for it, and it looks really good. Like, it was a really action-packed sequence of all the characters, like, one by one, just, like, doing something really cool, like, slow motion scene. It's just, like, that's pretty cool. I mean, you've even got the lickers. They got, like, fucking gills on them. They can go underwater and everything, which looks pretty cool. But, so that, plus, if I remember correctly, the other animated adaptation came out a couple of years ago, so that came out under this time frame. So let's say 9 projects. Obviously, let's say 5 of those are games. One's a failed game. One's a TV live action adaptation, and 2 CGI movie adaptations. That's a lot within these 6 years to keep fans invested within this franchise. And obviously the remakes have definitely pushed heavily for helping towards that. Whereas we've obviously say like the Naughty Dog's franchise is they've got obviously all they've really done since 2020 with The Last of Us Part 2. So obviously that was their big. So obviously if we count in the same years, I think was it 2017? No, it wasn't. It was 20. I can't remember when Uncharted 4 came out, so I'm not going to count that towards this. I can't remember. Go on, Big Brain Connor. I can't remember if it's 2017 or 2014. When did the Overwatch come out?
In 2016.
2016. Close enough. I was going to say, when did the Overwatch come out? Because obviously it beat it at the Game Awards, didn't it?
Yeah, it would have been 2016, man.
Yeah. So if we count the same, 2017, so we ignored that. Obviously, you had the Uncharted spin-off game, that one with the 2 female characters from the main game, which was pretty decent. Obviously, you've had the Last of Us Part 2 actual release. You've had Part 1 released. Not going to count the PC port. You've had, obviously, Last of Us TV series. You had the Uncharted movie. You had the Uncharted PC port. I'm counting that because there's not a... It was literally designed... There's the PC port and there's no other release of it apart from PC. So they've had 6 in the space of these 6 years, and only realistically 2 of them are new games, 2 of them are old games, and 2 of them are adaptations. So obviously they focus more on multimedia heavily, whereas Resident Evil, its heavy focus was generally the games, which obviously is my one hand was just games. And even if you count the failed game adaptation, still a game. Like just over half of well over half of their releases have been solely the game side of it.
Yeah.
So it is a good way, obviously, of just expanding franchises by just going back to what everyone already loves. That's why they did, obviously, Last of Us Part 1. Yeah, it's not just because, you can obviously do it so it's easy enough to go from one game to the next. It's also because everyone fucking loves The Last of Us. And obviously, at the same time, having the TV show, it makes sense to release both because you get the hype even more. Because you got people going straight from the remake of the game straight into the TV show, and then if you wanted to play it on PC, even though it was fucked, you were still going straight from the TV show straight into the game. Like the TV show is literally packaged around the PS5 port and the PC port of the original game. So that's a really good marketing strategy. Even if this hand flopped badly, it's still a good marketing strategy because you packaged it around it. Whereas obviously, to Resident Evil, I'd say as well they did package their games around the live action adaptation, because the live action adaptation came out last summer. Obviously, that is between Village and the remake of 4, so it is still packaged around. It's also a good way of having people go from Village, going, oh, it's an amazing game, to the TV show going, oh, this sucked, straight to Village, remake of 4 going, oh, it's amazing. It's like, obviously a good way of like getting people back up. Like, it slumped them down the TV show, like, oh, where's this franchise going? Hey, calm down. I'm just gonna grab something randomly here. Here's a copy of the 4th game. Oh, we got a 4th game. It's actually Kong Skull Island. I don't own the copy of the 4th game on disc. I got it on digital. I'm not a weirdo of discs. Imagine this: the picture of Leon on the front. Just a picture as Leon.
It's Leon. It's just modded.
Yeah, it's modded Leon. But yeah, it's the idea of literally people just depressed off that series. Like, oh my god, it's so bad. What the hell? And the studio's like, hey, look. Resident Evil 4 remade. Ooh.
Yeah, I feel like with Resident Evil as well, like the films and a lot of like even the TV shows are so separate from the games. Like they got the characters in, but they never really count as like the lore for the games. Whereas obviously with The Last of Us, it was so similar to the game. Might as well been the same thing. It was like obviously future things changed here and there, but it's fundamentally the same as the game. Resident Evil goes so over the top. I mean, look at the first, like, was it 3-4 films they did? They were dreadful, to be fair, but it is a good fun.
I like the first 5 films. I think they're good popcorn flicks.
I think it is good fun. I just don't think there was a good film. Like,
oh no, they're bad adaptations, but they're quite fun. Like Saturday night popcorn flicks. Apart from number 6, I don't talk about number 6.
I don't think I've ever watched number 6. I think I watched the first 3.
It's the final chapter. It's just so bad. It's so awful. Like the camera cuts, like the camera technique is just so awful. It's just like, oh,
I don't know what Capcom's like choice is to keep picking him as a director. I mean, look what he did to Monster Hunter.
I do love that. It's the case of, yes, you brought us money, but you're kind of ruining our franchise. Here's Monster Hunter.
Oh no.
It'd be like going from that now and going, hey, you consider Devil May Cry at all?
Oh my god, you know how bad that'd be.
And then in the then in the exact the other side. So you like zombies? We got Dead Rising if you want that.
that might actually work because he's goofy as hell.
I mean, there is a Dead Rising movie already. There's 2.
Oh, I didn't even know.
I've got both on DVD. They're not terrible. They're all right. They're like straight to like streaming type movies. They're built for a streaming service. If I remember correctly, back a few years ago. As I said, they only did 2. They followed on from each other, but that was it. It had the guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Do you know Captain Holt's friend, the one who basically betrays him at one point? He goes, "Oh, Bob."
Oh yeah.
He's like a general in it. He's like a bad guy in it though. But yeah, he's like one of the big villains sort of in it.
Like.
But yeah, it wasn't that. It was alright. I mean, they captured the whole like building like massive weaponry in it. That was pretty cool. Like, the whole scene of them building stuff, which was quite good. But yeah, obviously, here's a question. Obviously, since we've been talking remakes now, what game would you like to be remade? Like you'd like to see?
God, man.
So I think one thing we haven't spoken about is Pokemon, obviously, because that's another franchise that's been constantly remade constantly.
Yeah, remakes, yeah.
I forgot
But
about
I feel
that.
like there's not enough really change with the I suppose there is, but like it's not massive. I mean, like Diamond and Pearl, they could have done so much more with that remake. To be fair, I'm trying to think of a game that I've won as like remade.
I believe I forgot about Pokemon. We spoke heavily on Resident Evil constantly, and The Last of Us. That out of nowhere, I was going, shit, Pokemon. It's because there's nothing on my desk signaling Pokemon, or else I would have gone, oh shit, yeah. Like, the only thing I've got is like to the side of me, and I'm not glancing that way, so I can't see it.
I've got Pokemon tins everywhere in front of me, and there's me like franchises. Like, I'm trying to think of like a game I want remastered.
I'm an idiot. There is a Pokemon on my desk, but it's back to me. I got a Pikachu. It's caged. It's been a bad Pikachu. It's been overused.
I'm trying to think of. See, I would say Monster Hunter, but I feel like Monster Hunter as a franchise always like, especially with Rise, they've added so much of the old monsters into the new one. Anyway, why do you need the old ones? Like they're fundamentally not as good as the new ones, but I understand why people would want them. My brain goes to like the original Doom, but I don't think it'd work as a remaster.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense. It's got to be something from like. See, they've already remade a lot of games that I'd want, like Crash Bandicoot. They've already remade the ones that I liked. Spyro, they've already remade the ones that I liked, and there's not a lot of there's not a lot that I'd really want now. I can't think of anything.
On the spot, it's a hard thing to try and think of. I'm trying to remember like my archive of like old games and being like, I got one. It's the Power Rangers Time Force game that was on a PlayStation 1. I think I've actually got a PlayStation game lying around here, like a really old one. Let's see if I can find out what you're thinking.
You know what game I should remake?
What?
And I don't think it'd be too far fetched.
Was that scary in my face then? What?
It was pretty scary, yeah. There's one game, and now they already remade the campaign, but they didn't do the multiplayer, and that's Modern Warfare 2.
I say, because obviously that's another franchise that we forgot to talk about in terms of being remade. Obviously, they slightly have remade Modern Warfare franchise, but obviously they've changed a lot of they've changed a lot of the story, but they've kept the characters at the center of it. So yeah. I'd say it's more of a reboot than a remake.
The new ones went for this more like realistic thing. I say I was a big multiplayer guy. You're obviously more single player dude with a Call of Duty franchise.
I need to stop turning to the camera with a big smile every time I come back. It's creepy as fuck for myself. But yeah, I've got.
You know what? 3 games they could bring back, and I think I'd buy them to play them again. Is if they're remastered or remade the first 3 God of War games.
Oh yeah, that's my pick. I picked that as well.
Yeah, I think that
I've never played them.
The same, but just do the newer graphics, new everything else. I feel like it'd fit so well. Even I don't know about changing voice actors. I feel like they could get Christopher Judge to come and do the voice. It's still really fucking good.
I've never played any of them, so I'd definitely be up for that.
Yeah, I feel like that.
But no, in terms of like original PlayStation, I think they should remake this game. It's called
Dinosaur.
It's called Dinosaur. It's an artsy game where we get to like paint dinosaurs and draw.
Do you know first what he said on the front?
What?
Dino Wars. And I was like, what is Dino Wars?
Man, this has been I don't know why this is still in the room. It's just like,
what colour's the back of the disc? Is it black?
I think so.
Oh, that's good. If it's black, that's OG, man. Oh my god.
There's another game in here.
There's 2 games in one.
I don't think I've actually ever played this game. I think I brought it from like for really cheap, because obviously I've still got the PlayStation somewhere. But there's actually another game in here, but I've never actually opened this case before. It's called Micromaniacs. What the fuck's Micromaniacs?
Show me the front of the disc. I feel like I do know what that is. Micromaniacs. Alright, I'm gonna search.
I've never heard. This is honest to God truth. I've never opened this case. I brought it for probably like 50p.
You know what?
Game. What?
You know what? I've actually played that game.
What is it?
I actually got it. It's like a racing game that you run around really small, like tables and stuff, and like it's like, so you're small and you got like someone's house, so you run around the kitchen. It's quite good actually. I think I remember buying this actually. I bought the PlayStation bestsellers version with the yellow.
Where did I buy this? I think I might have bought it from like a school car boot. No, like when you're at school, have like little sort of car boot type sales, but
Yeah.
inside the like classrooms. Obviously,
Yeah.
I remember buying loads of crap before, and I think this is like one of the games I brought. I don't know why. I was, as a kid, you see dinosaurs, like, oh, cool, and then you get it home and go, fuck's sake, it's painting, and put it away. And I'll say I've never actually bothered to open it. It's just literally just been lying in a different place. For some reason, it's currently been sat on top of like my old game consoles, like my Xbox and Xbox One, for the past like fucking God knows how many years it's been sat there. And I've literally only just opened this game, and I was like, why is the game so loose? Because obviously, if you rattle it, if you hear, obviously this because the game's loose, and I thought it's just because the fucking thing's broke, as in like the clip it's on.
Oh yeah, look.
But it's not. There's two games inside it.
Do you know what I just remembered?
Well,
Dead Space. Dead Space got a remake.
oh yes, Dead Space.
I totally forgot about that.
I mean, I think it's good.
Really
I think this talk's been more about Resident Evil and Last of Us remake talks.
But also, like I say, another game that we should remake. The first like 3 Assassin's Creed games. Actually, third one already got remade, didn't it?
First one got
Third one.
Did it count as a remake, or was it like a remaster?
Even if they remastered just the second one, I'd be happy with that because I love the second.
They did the Ezio collection for that, didn't they?
Yeah, but it's not like
It wasn't. Yeah, and say I think it would be cool to have the old ones remade. So I mean, like they're going so far away at the moment in terms of where Resident Evil's on my brain, where Assassin's Creed was to where before. Obviously, now they're kind of going back with obviously that Mirage game that's supposed to come out either this year or next year, whenever they're fucking deciding to put it out. That's kind of going back to the first type of game, but obviously every other game's been more focused on just wars in terms of like this brutality and everything, which is pretty cool. I mean, I'm a big fan of that, but every now and again you do kind of want this more stealthy type game, like to sort of test your skills out. Because I mean, when you're playing the old games and you're getting fucked over because you can't get caught when you get caught when you're stealthy, like for fuck's sake, like it's like really it was annoying, but it was like something that you just remember being like you invested in because you spent ages going, right, take 50. I'm sitting on the bench. No one sees me. No one's there. See me again, you fucking bastards.
I'm hiring some prostitutes. I'm gonna walk with them. Man in a hood with a bunch of women. How's no one seeing me?
Yeah, cause, the first one you could just walk into like a bunch of fucking monks, wasn't it? So, obviously, you said the other ones you could just buy prostitutes. Then again, the Black Flag one you could as well, couldn't you?
Yes, I believe Brotherhood. You could have. I love that game. Brotherhood was so good. I think it was underrated.
Then Black Flag, you could also just buy normal hire pirates as well.
You could buy but mercenaries to go and attack people. And
yeah,
stuff
like they'd walk with you and you go, yeah, go deal with him. And like I say, the prostitutes would then come around you and hide you. 3 didn't have any of that, I don't think, did it?
You know what? I never played 3, and when I did get it, I got the remastered edition. My account got hacked and I lost the game, so I never got to play the remaster either. But yeah,
I don't remember 3 having anything like that. I could be wrong, but it's been a while. I don't remember it.
it was one with Connor, right?
3 was on with Connor, yes.
Yeah, I didn't play. Yeah,
Connor Kenway.
I wish I'd played it because I remember I even loved to do stuff about it.
It is pretty good, like, especially since obviously it's like Civil War. That's pretty cool.
All I remember is Tomahawks. Tomahawk.
But yeah, it's like they've gone so far away from the stealthy angle that it would be cool to have a few more going back. Even if you're not going to go forward with the stealthy games, just go back and have a crack at that. So yeah, God of War, old Assassin's Creeds are definitely ones that would be really cool to get the remake treatment, sorry. But the question is, are Ubisoft going to even bother? Because it's Ubisoft. And God of War they could because it's PlayStation. They might see the success of Last of Us and go, hey, let's try it with that other big franchise.
But who owns the first 3 God of Wars?
Oh.
Because obviously Santa Monica did it.
I don't think so.
Just need to have to get the right. Well, actually, I'm pretty sure PlayStation would own the IP, I guess. I
Probably.
suppose the remaster or it
It,
needs like a remake more than a remaster, I believe. So
so it'd probably be more of like a joint thing between obviously Santa Monica, the old studio, and PlayStation. Obviously, there'd be a sit down of them trying to all work it together. Obviously, Santa Monica bringing the new graphical engines, obviously the new design for everything, the new build, whereas the old obviously one's coming in with the old story and obviously how theirs ran. Obviously, and obviously it'd be obviously a collision of them trying to of them merging obviously their new obviously engine with their story basically, because that's what it really is their engine, their story, bang, done. And then PlayStation sell,
do you
money
know what?
made, easy money made.
I'm going through my head of all the different remakes and remasters. There's one which I think like doesn't get a lot of people talk about. That's the Diablo 2 Resurrected. I feel like I was done so well. It kept literally there's a button that you can press and it make it look like the old game again, but it just runs like it's like a newer hardware. Obviously, you can keep it as like the new graphics and stuff, but I feel like having that option to just go back to the original, they literally press a button, and you see like a screen swipe, and you go back to like the original look, like all the blocky stuff. I think that's so cool. I think that's what they could have done with like a few remakes. To be fair, just add that little option to have like the old graphics pop back in or
Yeah,
whatever, just like the bit of nostalgia. But no, I think Diablo 2 is definitely one of the ones that they kept so close to the old game. They just revamped everything, like same as Last of Us, I guess. They just put like the revamped everything, just make it run better, make it look better. So,
yeah,
Diablo 2,
basically.
good remake.
Talking of old stuff with a new polish to it. I I was watching the new Netflix Power Rangers special, the 30th
Oh god,
anniversary one earlier. It's like 55 minutes long.
yeah.
It's very strange. I've seen a bunch of old people in spandex.
Ooh,
Like it's very cheesy and very cringy at times, but as a fan, it's nostalgic for me. And I'm just like,
you was like hell yeah.
yep. It was like there's like a whole scene with like the one character who basically hasn't been in it since like he basically left the show in the original series and they replaced him with someone else. Obviously, he's back in this one, and you just see him. He's like he starts obviously because his style of fighting is like dance fighting, and he's just like he's obviously this is like and not a young guy anymore. Obviously, just popping and locking, and the character's just there behind him going, "Are you dance fighting?" And he's like, "Oh yeah."
Gotta say,
It was interesting. I enjoyed it. It was quite fun. And they even did the musical ending of the theme song with the characters past them translating them into the present look, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it was an interesting newer revamp of an older looking thing. But yeah, I mean we could talk about fucking remakes and remasters for ages. Obviously, like Pokemon's one we could keep going on fucking talking about because there's literally what you've got the Diamond and Pearl remakes, you've got the Let's Go
gold, silver,
movies,
the sapphire,
movies, games. And so you got the Sapphire and Ruby. Is it Heart Gold and Soul Silver?
diamond and pearl.
I just said that one.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. Is that all of them?
Pokemon Let's Go.
Yeah, I
It's
said that as
technically a
well.
remake.
So it's the Silver and Gold one. Then it was obviously the Ruby and Sapphire. Then it's the Let's Go ones. Then it's the Diamond and
Diamond and
Pearl.
pearl.
Is it
I
Diamond
think
and
that
Pearl
was
after Let's
last
Go?
remake. I think so. Yeah.
There's no others
It would have
between.
been because it's a remake on Switch, wasn't it? So it would have been, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously they're all interesting in their own rights because it brings again it's an idea of bringing back an old game to newer audience and for the older audience. You love to play it back on the old Game Boys and the old fucking Nintendo DSs.
See, I feel like obviously with Heart Gold Soul Silver, Mega Ruby and Sapphire and Diamond and Pearl, that was like a remake for the fans. Whereas Pokemon Let's Go was like a remake for the kids. That was like
Yeah,
it's so simplified
that
and
and
dumbed down.
they were cashing in on the obviously Pokemon
Let's
Go.
Go thing. Yeah.
They were cashing in on that. So the other games were definitely more straight for the fans, whereas Let's Go was literally just for
Giddy
obviously.
Winkles.
Yeah, I mean the fact that you can get like a little
Bubbles.
Pokeball and like stuff like that. It was
It's
definitely
like you didn't
aimed.
have to battle wild Pokemon, you just had to catch them. So you didn't even have to
Yeah,
battle other than trainers, and there's hardly anything that was hard
I
to
mean,
do,
I mean the
really.
question is, are they going to remake Platinum?
They should have done Platinum instead of Diamond and Pearl. I feel like they should have also done Emerald instead of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. They should have done the third one in each one because that was always the definitive one. He's always the one that had the most stuff. It's like if they made Black and White, they should remake Black and White 2, not the first one, because the second one had everything the first one did, but more.
Yeah,
So,
but
I felt like
the
that
cash grab
bit.
though, then when it them going, oh, we're just
No.
going to remake the second one as well. That's the question. Are they going to now remake the Black and White era and maybe the X and Y era, and then also you got the Sun and Moon era? Because it's a case of are they now going to try and just translate it all from handheld console in terms of DS's, 3DS's, Game Boys onto the Switch. I mean that's what obviously is making it sell, is the fact that it's an old game that everyone loves on a much better device.
I think that was one of my biggest hates that they did with Pokemon is obviously they had Alpha and Sapphire and then they released Emerald, didn't they? Which is like the definitive edition with a bit extra.
Yeah.
They did the same with Diamond and Pearl with Platinum, and then they started doing that like Black and White 2. So you had another 2 editions of the same game again, basically.
And then you had Ultra Sun,
and
Ultra
Sun and
Moon.
Moon. Yeah,
I think X and Y was the only one that didn't, was it?
X and Y didn't release with Z. Everyone expected Z because obviously Zygarde's in there, isn't he?
Yeah.
They didn't release. I feel like there was Gono, but maybe give
So
up on
X and Y is the only one that just literally was just one game. Like, well, obviously one double game. That was it. Everything else that they basically kept doing. Obviously, the new ones don't tend to do that as well. Obviously, Sword and Shield didn't do any an extra one. They didn't do Gun.
They just did.
Oh,
that was a rumor for the longest time.
yeah, Sword, Shield, and Gun. Now I've got a better one. Sword, Shield, and Butter Knife.
Sword, Shield, and Cannon.
But that would make sense because they're all British.
Oh, Sword, Shield, and Trebuchet.
What would it be for the new one? Scarlet and Violet.
Scarlet, Violet. Oh my god, they got Topaz.
Topaz.
Amethyst.
But yeah, like I think that's the thing. Obviously, that's the thing with the DS ones. Basically, is just the case of we've got the thing already built. Let's fuck it, let's do it. But now it's the case of what they seem to be doing more is DLC. What's the point in adding the same game again? Let's just add to the game we've got.
Yeah,
because then that would invest more people in it. Yeah, you're probably going to make more money by just releasing the same game because people are going to buy it because, as you say before to me, it's Pokemon, people are going to buy it. It's literally the case of DLC, yeah, people are going to buy it as well. Because, I mean, you're putting it at basically the same price as the fucking, like, what, maybe 20 quid cheaper than the game. So you're still fucking putting it for 30 quid, fucking whatnot. So you fucking mount that up on everyone who's already got it. And then if word of mouth gets around on the game, people are going to start buying it. So, I mean, I spoke to fucking, who was it? Fucking Big Dom at work. When I used to start early, I obviously used to take my Switch, didn't I?
Yeah.
And I was playing it before, and he caught me playing it. And then, like, about fucking a month or so later, he was like, "Oh, I bought my kids it." And I kept getting asked questions about it. So obviously, I've given that word of mouth now, and now someone's brought it. So I want some compensation in Nintendo. I've done a good job for you. I've got someone to buy the game.
Well, talking about Nintendo, I was reading today. There's a guy who hacked Nintendo Switches, I believe. He was like hacking games and whatnot, and they took him to court, and he has to pay 20 to 30% of all his income for the rest of his life to Nintendo. I don't know how that's even gone through. I don't know how that's passed. That seems insane. This guy is literally losing 20-30% of his income every month to Nintendo. That's got to be like, I don't know how that's legal. That seems illegal.
How was he hacking them? Like, in terms of what exactly was he doing?
I don't know what he's doing. From what I can gather, he's hacking into like software and possibly modding stuff. But that 20-30% of his income for the rest of his life, I'll see if I can find it. I mean, it's like currently like today. Come on,
that seems like a lot for just like trying to mod a game. But then again, that's Nintendo for you, isn't it?
Sentenced to 40 months in prison in part in helping run a business that reportedly earned him over 300k. Trying to see where it said. Addition to 4.5 million won't have to be paid back since he's Canada, not US. Baz says he can take 25 to 30% of his monthly income gross for the rest of his working life.
Fucking hell, that's a lot. And again, did it just say that he made like fucking 30k from doing it?
So apparently he made 300,000 in for a company. So I don't know if he made it himself, but apparently like a business that he was running made 300k. But you gotta think, imagine us working and what we get, and then someone comes in and dips 30% out each month. I mean, it's like the government, but I mean,
Basically,
the government again doing like imagine a 30% every month, whatever you earn, 30%. That's insane.
it's a
Even if you earn
lot.
a bonus, it's like 30%.
That's a lot. Jesus
So
Christ.
I thought maybe they could have said like for so many years, but for the rest of his
That's
life
a
is
lot for the
quite
rest of his life.
insane.
Fucking hell. Anyway, I think we could keep talking for ages, but we could probably pull out another remake out of our arse somewhere. That has probably happened over the past so long. Obviously, if we've missed any remakes, put them in the comments below so we can go, oh shit, yeah, we missed that remake. Obviously, put your thoughts on the remakes we spoke about in terms of obviously Resident Evil, Last of Us, Pokemon, Modern Warfare, kind of. And if you think it's just a cash grab or it's a good way of building your IP up with what you've already got to bring new and old fans into the fold. Obviously you can check out the podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, etc., etc., or you can watch it here on YouTube, as very clear, light as day. You can see our ugly mugs and Connor's breaking news and his dun dun. Obviously, thanks for coming back, Connor. It's very much appreciated to have your assistance back again.
It's fine. I like joining every now and then for a nice little talk and a few games.
Nice little chin wag.
Veganise the entire time, scratch my chin.
Yeah. Obviously, like, subscribe, and the usual dinging of bells. And yeah, obviously, this has been the Chat OK podcast, and we shall hopefully see you next time.
Peace.
Fuck's sake.